Hey everyone, R. Mercer here with Casey Honda. Just want to do a quick video today on a walk around on one of our EX HRVs. So the HRV is our compact crossover SUV. It's a little smaller than, for example, the CRV. You can see a CRV right there, HRV next to it. So the HRV has a lot of fantastic features. It's a quirky little vehicle, and I say that in a really good way. Has some features that are really not common on most cars. So today I wanted to give you a full walk around, sort of show you everything that comes on the EX trim. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. So this is the 19 HRV, as I said in my little introduction. So I'm going to start up here at the front. This one needs a bit of a wash, but you know, that happens. So first thing I want to cover here, you can see up at the top, the vehicle does come with its roof rails, just not the crossbars. That's a really nice feature. Usually those are about a couple $100 to get installed. They come standard on the EX HRVs. Another thing you'll notice up here in the front is, it's a little hard to see here, but that little camera right there. And then down here, if I can find it. Oh, where'd they hide it? I think it's in the front bumper on this one. This vehicle does come equipped with Honda Sensing. And that includes, so that's your collision mitigation braking system, your lane keeping assist, that sort of functionality. And I'll go into a bit more in depth on that when I get inside the vehicle. But basically the way it works is that the camera up at the top there, that can read the lines on the road, and then the radar unit down here on the bottom, that actually will detect sort of the distance and relative speed of other cars in front of you. So you can see the vehicle has its fog lights on it. That comes on the EX trim. We had a bit of a redesign for 19. So one of the things they changed is this here went from being like a bright chrome down to a darker chrome. You can kind of see that effect here in the front. Well, actually, I'm sorry, this is an EX, so this has the regular bright chrome. Bright chrome here versus the sports would have the dark chrome like that Accord would. So coming around the side, just continuing our walk on the exterior here, you can see you do have your alloy rims. And this is a four-person vehicle, the four-door vehicle. So I can, for example, open the back with that little door handle tucked in there. You can see it has pretty good backseat space as well. One of the things I like about these is that I can actually fit back here. I'm about 6'1", almost 6'2". I can actually fit in the back of these. I can't do that with the CHR. So what's really so special about the back? Well, like every other, vehicle in the world, of course, the back folds down. Nice and flat on this one, actually. But the seats on this one actually fold up. So if I lock it out in one-handed there, you can see I can fold both those seats up. And the HRV has a really low center tunnel for that transmission. So it gives you a lot of open space. If you have dogs or tall objects or stuff like that, you can really open the vehicle up, really take a look at the inside. And it really gives you some really nice extra storage and space, especially for tall items that you don't want to lay flat. And then to release it, I just pull that up, drop that down, and there we go. So around the back over here, you can see that this is the HRV badge there. This is a front-wheel drive model. There really aren't any differences between the front and all-wheel drive. No extra features. You do have your backup camera mounted right down under here. Like the rest of our backup cameras, it's a 3-position camera. So it has sort of a wide-angle fisheye lens, a narrower angle view with less depth distortion, and then it can also pivot and give you a top-down view right off this back bumper. And I tell this story all the time. That saved my neck on one of these Hondas. I went back to Boston, where I'm from. It had to parallel park for the first time in 2 years. That was a fun time. Thank goodness for that camera. So the vehicle opens up nicely. It has full keyless entry, or keyless entry, so the sensors are on the front 2 doors and the hatch. So you don't have to get the key out or even touch it. You don't even need to press the buttons on it. So you can see here in the back, it has actually a good amount of cargo space, more space back here than you'd think there'd be by the vehicle shape. And then the way these headrests work is that they actually retract down all the way into the seats, and then you pop them up when you're using them. So I can push that headrest down, lock it in there, so it's not sticking up in your field of view. This does have a little cargo area light. We usually leave that turned off while it's on the lot. And of course it comes with its floor mats. There's no charge on the MSRP sticker for that. Let's close that up here. Coming around to the right side of the vehicle, you can see this does have, if I bend down here, this does have the little lane watch camera on it. That's an EX and up feature, so that's not on the Sport. And then it does have the side integrated turn signals. And I'll show you that lane watch camera inside the vehicle. Let's take a bit of a wander back around to where the Monroney sticker is. I can see that right here. You can see this is a 2-wheel drive EX vehicle. Of course, I'm nicely in the shot here. Let me get out of the shot. You can see 30 miles per gallon combined, 28 city, 34 highway. and great safety ratings, and actually not a bad vehicle price either. You know, $24,765 MSRP. So give me a few seconds. I'm going to pop the hood and we'll take a look at the engine bay. All right, so here's the engine bay on the HRV. You can see in here, this is a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated engine, producing about 141 horsepower if memory serves. This is a relatively light vehicle, so it doesn't feel like it's underpowered. One of the things I really do like about it. You can also see here, you know, you have your coilover plug ignition right there. That's the black caps on top of the spark plugs. Oil dipstick here. Oil fill right there. Brake fluid up there towards the top. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to access everything via washer fluid. Everything's pretty color coded in here. Draw your eye, very easily accessible. And it's actually not too bad of a bay to work in either. You know, you can see everything's kind of out there and open, you know, alternators down there. And then you have I believe this is one of the engine computers located up there. And then that's your air intake, or your air filter box right there, air intake coming forward, just forward of where the radiator is, which is right about here. So that's a quick rundown on the engine bay. If we look at the headlights over here, you can see that you do have your LED daytime running lights, and then you have projectors here for your main beams, and then standard reflector for your high beams. And those are accessible back through here. I can just reach down and put my hands on where the light modules are right in here. So you don't have to, you know, pull a Chevy and take half the engine bay apart just to get at the headlight modules. Yep, so that's a basic rundown of the engine bay. I can go into more detail on this thing and the Earth Dreams technology that's part of all of our engines and all that stuff, but that's a little bit above and beyond. At some point in the future, I'll probably do a video on that. Another thing I want to point out up here is that you do have a lot of soundproofing up here. You know, this is fairly thick. Well, it's hard to see because that's thin there on that rib, but you can see how much I can push in on this here. So there's a good amount of soundproofing there. And then the vehicle also does have our ACE body structure, Advanced Compatibility Engineering. Part of that you can actually see right in here, how the frame members look like they're laminated. So what they're designed to do is, instead of just, you know, the impact being on a standard crumple zone vehicle, the energy from that impact is going to be absorbed in the engine bay. One of the ideas with ACE is that it sort of pushes the energy out to the side, you know, so it doesn't try and directly contain that energy in the engine bay, kind of tries to push it away from the passenger compartment. Just a quick little helpful thing there if you are in an accident with one of these. All right, so in a second I'm going to be inside of it. I'll hop in there and we'll take a look at the inside of the vehicle. All right, so now we are inside the HRV. I already recorded this once, it's time to record it again. So, a couple quick things in here. You can see we've updated this center information display. So you have a little info display on the left with your RPMs, your tachometer, and your clock, and the outside air temperature. You have a dial here, your speedometer here is mounted in the center. And then of course you do have your information display there, and I can just cycle through different options there. To the right side of that is actually your display for Honda Sensing. So what this car has for Honda Sensing is you do have adaptive cruise control, and you know, I can hit set and change my distance, my follow distance right there. So zoom forward, you can see it's 2 bars now, 1 bar, 4 bars, back to 2. And the cool thing with how this is set up, oops, I clicked it one too many times. The cool thing with how this is set up is that it will, like 2 bars distance is different at 20 miles an hour than 60 miles an hour. So it'll take your speed into account. Now the HRV does not have low speed follow, so the adaptive cruise won't function all the way down to 20 miles an hour. It'll disengage at, or it won't function all the way down to 0, it'll disengage at 20 miles an hour. That's just a limitation on the system. You can see it has the smaller type camera mounted up there. Now the other features this does have is the lane keeping assist, so I can turn that on there and you can see the 2 lines that are hollow pop up. They're hollow because the car is telling me that it can't detect the lines on the road, obviously. And it also only functions above about 45 miles an hour. Let's say 45. I've seen it work down to like 43 before, but anyways. So what it will do is it'll read the lines on the road and then actually apply torque to the steering wheel to help you stay centered in your lane. Pretty cool, right? The other 2 features on Honda Sensing are down here. There are passive safety features. So you have at the bottom is your road departure mitigation, or RDM. What RDM does is it picks up the lines on the road, again. If it detects that you're leaving the lane, it'll apply some torque to the steering wheel to help you stay in your lane. It'll also vibrate it to kind of wake you up if you're dozing off. Now, if it detects that you're going off the road entirely, it'll apply a lot more torque to the wheel to try and keep you on the road. And then if that actually fails, it'll apply the brakes to full power to try and mitigate any damage from going off-road at significant speed. And just like lane keeping assist, that functions above 45 miles an hour. Your second feature down here, if I can get my hand out of the way, is the collision mitigation braking system. And what CMBS will do is CMBS will actually use the radar sensor mounted up there in the nose to detect any cars in front of you. So, you know, like that Pilot. If it detects that you're likely to get into a collision, it'll give you a visual alert down here and an audio alert over the speaker systems. If you fail to react, it'll actually eventually apply the brakes to full power to try and mitigate any damage resulting in the collision. You know, reduce the speed, reduce the kinetic energy, less damage to the vehicle. Pretty cool, right? Down here, you also have your Econ mode button. So what Econ mode does is, if we look at my center screen, if I press the button there, it says Econ on, and I get a little green leaf, and then Econ off. Okay. What Econ does is it gives you about an extra 3 to 4 miles per gallon, city and highway. And the way it does that is by when I turn on Eco mode, it actually reduces the sensitivity of my accelerator down there, the power going to the air conditioning, and it changes the cruise control behavior. So it allows the cruise control a bit more variation in your speed. It's about a 3 mile an hour range in order to improve the fuel efficiency. Pretty cool. Of course, over here on the left, you have your standard stock control here and your blinkers. And then you have your audio controls down here. Oh, blinkers, right. So one of the things that the car has, earlier I mentioned the lane watch camera. Watch what happens when I turn on my right side directional. I get a camera shot back along the right side of the car from that little camera mounted in the mirror on the right. It's only on the right-hand side. There are some reasons for it. If you want to know why, I can explain in the comments. But it's essentially kind of like a blindside information system. It lets you know, hey, look, there's a car over there in my blind spot. And you can see that there's this red line here. That red line essentially tells you where the back of your car is, and then you have a couple more car lengths just for perspective information there. On the stock, if you don't want that up for whatever reason, you can press the button and it goes away. Or if your blinker isn't on and you press the button, it can bring the camera up without having to put your blinker on. And you can go into the settings on this, by the way, and disable that automatic functionality entirely. And then also on the steering wheel, you do have your controls right here. These are the controls for that right side screen over there. Okay, moving on, let's look at the touchscreen here. So the touchscreen on this vehicle, it's the standard Honda display audio. You'll notice if you're coming from an older HRV, we don't have the CD player anymore. The LXs, some of them still do, but not anything with the new display audio system. So for audio sources, you still have your AM, FM, like bring it up so you can see. You have your FM, your AM, your Sirius XM built in, USB play, so if you have songs on like a USB memory stick, iPod integration, Bluetooth, Pandora over Bluetooth. And the last one there, I'll get into in a second, because the main thing we've done, one of the big things we've done is we now have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay standard on the HRV. Found something we were lacking for a while. We were all asking for it, and Honda finally gave it to us. Also, we brought your volume knob back, folks. I know you'll be very happy. We brought the physical volume knob back. Hip, hip, huzzah. So coming down here, we have our climate control system. It is not dual zone, it is single zone, but it is automatic. So if I hit the auto button here, it'll take control of the fans and everything else and do its best to drown me out entirely. So let me turn the fan volume down. This also does have heated front driver and passenger seats as well. Moving down here, we do have a standard shifter, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and second mode. And then below that, we have the electronic parking brake. So all I need to do is pull it up to set it. Well, put my foot on the brake and push it down to release. You can see the parking indicator's gone away. And then just pull it up to engage it. Parking indicator's back. The last thing we have down here is our brake hold feature. What brake hold will do is if you're driving the car, you turn on brake hold, and you bring the car to a stop, it'll actually keep the brakes engaged and keep the brake lights on after you take your foot off the brake. But you have to bring the car to a stop for that to happen. So, if you're sitting at like a long traffic light or waiting for a train or you're in stop and go traffic, you don't have to constantly be holding your foot on the brake. You can take your foot off, rest for a minute, and then just press the accelerator. And once you press the accelerator, it'll release the main brakes. Now the system will still be on. So the next time you bring it to a stop, it'll re-engage itself. All right, moving down here, we got a little bit of storage here. A little bit of storage, oops, cable is in the way. A little bit of storage in there. Not a lot, but there's also not a lot of space in between these two seats. And then down here we have something that Honda's very proud of, which are our new cup holders. So you can see here you have a lot of space down here right now. It's big, you know, you could put a big coffee mug in there, or a, you know, a large bottle of something, like a 20 ounce or something. But let's say you wanted to put in a coffee mug, like a small one. Press that button there, press that button there. These panels pop up and these arms pop out. And the arms you can actually slip into like a, the handle on a small coffee mug to keep it stationary. Pretty cool, right? And then to remove these, you just push that back in, push this in, push that down, and they all lock back into place. A couple other things, quick things. You do have a sunroof on it. It is a one-touch power sunroof. I can open the shade. I can also open the full sunroof. We won't open it all the way because now I'm getting blinded. All right, close. There we go. And it does also have tilt functionality as well. The controls are right up here. That's a basic rundown of the inside of the HRV, folks. It does have a manual seat. They're not powered seats. They are heated. It is a cloth interior, as you can see. This is the black interior. You have 2 air vents for the front driver. One over here, one over here. This is a defroster vent for my left side window. You can see there's another one over here. Then you have 3 vents here. I believe this one is really intended to be pointed towards the back seat. There aren't any back seat air vents on the HRV. It's kind of a smaller vehicle. You can see there isn't much distance between me and the back seat there. I'm about 6'1", 6'2". I can still fit back there, but it isn't a huge internal vehicle, so it cools down pretty quick. Last thing I just want to show you, you're probably asking me where the USB ports are on this thing. They are down here. So this actually has a very similar 2-tier storage solution, that much like the Civic. So your 2 USB ports are down here and your power outlet is over there on the right, and that does go all the way through. So if you all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can get a hold of me down in the comment section below. I've been getting inundated by spam, so I won't put my email address up on the video descriptions anymore, and because that is my work email I've posted up before. And yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll answer them best I can. If any of you want another walk around on a different trim line of the HRV, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. There also should be a video probably up here somewhere. There it is. About our Casey Carefree lifetime engine and powertrain warranty on all our new cars. Give it a watch. It's a great feature, especially if you're like a lot of Honda buyers, you tend to keep your cars forever. Anyways, this is R. Mercer with Casey Honda signing off. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Drive safe out there.